This is Gudayachn news, views and analysis. I am Gudayachn, Oslo, Norway. Today, March 2018, our headlines are: the question of legitimacy is raised on the state of emergency declared in Ethiopia. Who is the expected Prime Minister of Ethiopia? The question of legitimacy is raised on the state of emergency declared in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is in a serious political crisis due to the leading coalition of EPRDF, internal instability and power struggle. The quarter-century one-party rule of Ethiopia seems to end due to the continuous and powerful popular uprising in most parts of the country. For the last 2 years, the western, central, northwestern, and southern parts of the country were busy with the consecutive demonstration, home-sitting strikes, and even in the northwestern part of the country, there is especially in the northern Gondar province, armed clashes between TPLF-led army and the local farmers were a day-to-day events. As a result of popular uprising, only based on the state passes release, 10,000 were imprisoned and others hundreds were killed by the government forces. It was after 24 months of strong popular protests that the Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn announces as he will leave his highest political power. The reason that the Prime Minister gives for his resignation was to contribute for the democratic process more effectively. Many Ethiopians took his words as it is contrary to fact. How someone could contribute more when he becomes ordinary people than being Prime Minister? A high school student from Addis Ababa asks. Yes, the resignation of the Prime Minister without any earlier notification is an indicator that some sort of internal conflict is going on within the EPRDF coalition led by dominantly TPLF. The surprise news didn't stop by the resignation of the Prime Minister, but within 72 hours, Ethiopian state TV announced that the Council of Ministers declared state of emergency for a unknown period of time. The state of emergency is one of the worst declarations that undermines all democratic rights with the country. It bans also the rights of regional states to give press release for local medias. Therefore, it is not only restricts the rights of ordinary citizens, but those coalition members' political organizations should have different ideas to TPLF. Now the question of legitimacy is raised seriously regarding the state of emergency. The first question is, does the resigned Prime Minister's Council could declare state of emergency without the consent of approval of the Member of Parliament? The second question is that, is there any conditions that oblige to declare state of emergency in Ethiopian current political situation? Because the main question of the popular uprising, which is peaceful in most parts of the country, is justice and democracy. According to Ethiopian constitution, state of emergency can be declared if there is an emergency problem like natural disaster and invasion from external forces of the country that could face. However, the current state of emergency is nothing but just the quarter-century rule of the country is trying to keep and extend its power for more additional years through beating the popular uprising under the cover of state of emergency declaration. The other reason that undermines the legitimacy of the state of emergency is that even the coalition members of the ruling front agreement is not yet approved. because among the coalition front of EPRDF, the main one of the Oromia and Amhara coalition are not yet explained their support to the declaration. Many argue that the two coalition members are strongly opposed. It becomes because the death rate of the innocent people is so high in these two regions. Today, March 2, 2018, Member of Parliament extraordinary meeting is called in Addis Ababa. That is to pass or fill the state of emergency. Most people in Ethiopia and abroad demand strongly the MP should disagree with the declaration. Even if the MP passes the declaration, it doesn't mean that it has passed through normal democratic process, because the parliament by itself is threatened by the TPLF high military officials, says one social media commentator right on her page. Now, the big question is on the table. Ethiopia is on crossroad. TPLF could not brought democracy and justice to the country. So what will happen next is a key question that many raised currently. The answer is not complicated for many Ethiopians at home and abroad. The only solution is to struggle the regime and be free citizen of the region. Citizen of the nation. Now we shall pass to our second title. Who will be the Prime Minister of Ethiopia? This is Gudayachn news, views and analysis. Who is the expected Prime Minister of Ethiopia? Ethiopia, since Hailemariam Desalegn resigns, the country is without the Prime Minister. The minority coalition, but that took the lion's share of the political, economical, and military of the country, TPLF is within continuous power struggle with its rivalry coalition of the Amhara and Oromo regional state leaders. Particularly, the coalition from OPDO is in a serious struggle, which leads to forward the coming Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Even if the TPLF media stand against the OPDO, that is Oromo People's Democratic Organization, candidate for the Prime Minister, most Ethiopians, both at home and abroad, and including the opposition groups, is building more confidence on OPDO candidacy. He is Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali. Abiy is educated and studied the cultural and political conflict that the country is facing currently. Many people agree that the personality, leadership, capacity, and experience of Abiy could help Ethiopia to manage its current political crisis. By the way, who is Abiy? This is Gudayachn news, reviews and analysis. Abiy Ahmed was born in Agar, Jimma zone in 1976, a son of Ahmed Ali, a farmer. Abiy is a fitness aficionado and professes that physical health goes hand in hand with the mental health, and as frequents physical and gym activities in Addis Ababa. In 2015, Abiy mentioned he has a wife which he met during his service in the Ethiopian Defense Forces, with whom he has 3 young daughters. Abiy receives his first degree in computer engineering from Microlink Information Technology College in Addis Ababa in 2001. In 2005, Abiy got a postgraduate advanced diploma in cryptology, master's from Pretoria's RSA, Republic of the South Africa. And he has the data communication between two parties. He took also a course with data communication between two parties. Abiy also holds an MA Master's degree in Transformational Leadership and Change with Merit, Greenwich University, London, in collaboration with the International Leadership Institute, Addis Ababa. That is in 2011. He also holds another MBA from Leadstar College of Management and Leadership in partnership with Ashald in 2013. Abiy completed his PhD in 2017 from Institute of Peace and Security Studies in Addis Ababa University. His PhD work had to do with the work for the Agaro constituency entitled Social Capital and its Role in Traditional Conflict Resolution in Ethiopia, the case of inter-regional conflicts in Jimma zone. Beside his political and military roles, he became board chairman of Jimma University, Oromia Microfinance Bank, and Oromia Broadcasting Network. His military career. As a teenager in 1990, he joined the armed struggle against the Derg socialist regime and was a soldier in the coalition armies that resulted in Derg's fall in 1991. After the fall of the Derg, he took formal military training from Asafa Brigade in Western Wallagga and was stationed there. His military post was on intelligence and communications. He became soldier in the new Ethiopian National Defense Force in 1993, mostly again in the intelligence and communication. In 1995, after the Rwandan genocide, he was deployed as a member of the United Nations Peacekeeping Force in Kigali, Rwanda. In the intelligence team to discover positions of the Eritrean Defense Forces until 2010, Abiy achieved the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. The late officer started working on cryptography and its applications. He established the Ethiopian Information Network Security Agency, INSA, in 2007. Until 2010, he was the founding director of INSA. During this time, he was also a board member of several government agencies working on information and communication like Ethio Telecom and Ethiopian Television. Abiy's political career. In 2010, Abiy left INSA to become a politician. He started his political career as a member of Oromo People's Democratic Organization, OPDO. The OPDO is a ruling party in Oromia region since 1991 and also one of the four coalition parties of the ruling coalition in Ethiopia, that is the EPRDF, Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front. Abiy became a member of the Central Committee of OPDO from 2010 to 2012 and Congress member of the Executive Committee of the EPRDF. In the 2010 national election, Abiy represented his home Warda of Agaro and became an elected member of the House of People's Representatives, the lower chamber of the Ethiopian Federal Parliamentary Assembly. During his time in parliamentary service, there were several religious clashes among Muslims and Christians in the Jimma zone. Some of these confrontations turned violent and resulted in the loss of life and property. Abiy took a proactive role in working with several religious institutions and elders to bring about reconciliation in the zone. He was re-elected to the House of People's Representative in Goma Warada in 2015. Abiy was then setting up a forum entitled Religious Forum for Peace on outcome of the need to devise a sustainable resolution mechanism to restore peaceful Muslim-Christian community interaction in the region. In 2014, Abiy established a new GRI, Government Research Institute, called Science and Technology Information Center, that is STIC, with the intention of creating a science, technology, and innovation excellence center. He became Director General of STIC. Abiy became an executive member of OPDO in 2015. In 2016, Abiy moved and became the Ethiopian Minister of Science and Technology, a post which he left after only a few months to go back into his home region to Oromia to take over more responsibilities and duties. From late 2016 on, Abiy served his home region of Oromia with the rank of Deputy Representative for Oromia region, while staying member of the Ethiopian Federal House of People's Representatives. He is considered to work closely together with the Oromia region President Lemma Magarsa. Abiy also became the head of the Oromia Urban Development and Planning Office. In his role, Abiy was expected to be a major driving force behind Oromia economic revolution, Oromia land and investment reform, youth employment, as well as resistance to widespread land grabbing on Oromia region. As one of his duties in office, he took care of the displaced 1 million Oromo people from Somalia region during the 2017 unrest. A multilingual, he speaks Amharic, Afan Oromo, Tigrinya, and fluent in English language. Abiy is said to be the engine behind of OPDO and a more assertive role for Oromia and for OPDO in Ethiopian politics as head of OPDO Secretariat from October 2017 on. Abiy crossed over religious and ethnic divide to facilitate the formation of new alliance between Oromo and Amhara groups, both making up 2/3 of the 100 million Ethiopian population. Both Abiy and Lemma are in 2018 considered to be favorite politicians of the majority within the Oromo ethnicity, but also within other Ethiopian ethnicities. Abiy is considered to be the candidate for the post of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, but the leading role of the majority, the minority lead of TPLF is not yet approved. Abiy's Prime Minister in Ethiopia, but many at home and abroad are still supporting Abiy to be a Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Maybe next week everybody will get the answer. This is Gudayachn news, views, and analysis. Have a nice day. We'll come back with another news, views, and analysis regarding Ethiopian politics. For today, I'm Gudayachn from Oslo, Norway. Have a nice day.